energy. And in fact, we have some experience already with that because the SBA approved in the Recovery Act over 300 loans, $100 million, for businesses that put solar panels on rooftops, that install wind turbines, and that provide energy efficiency and environmental services. So this leads me to a key focus that I have set for the SBA. We're focused both on creating jobs in the short term, and at the same time, we are working to help those small, innovative businesses that are the foundation stone for America's long-term competitive position. In fact, there are really two kinds of small businesses. There's the small businesses on Main Street. And these are the restaurants and the dry cleaners and the car repair operations that are part of the fabric of our everyday lives. The SBA serves those small businesses on Main Street, and we have since we were founded in 1953, and we're going to continue to do so. But in addition, we have a unique opportunity to build America's future by investing in the high-growth, high-impact small businesses. They're sometimes called gazelles. There's one study. It shows there are about 375,000 of these small businesses. And they're not all young, high-tech startups on one coast, the East Coast or the West Coast. No. Instead, they exist in every county, both rural and urban, all across the country. They're in every industry, including manufacturing. Some are the young, high-tech startups in alternative energy and healthcare information technology. Others are 100-year-old, third-generation companies that have found a way to reinvent themselves for the 21st century. At the SBA, we are committed to helping these important job generators. I'm going to tell you two quick ways that we're going to do that. The first is exporting. Trade has been global for America's big companies for decades. But with the growth of global networks and communications, new markets have opened up for small businesses. Since 2003, America's small business exports have grown about 80%. They're nearly $500 billion now in sales. But the problem is that these exports are now only 30% of the total exports of the country. And more than half of the small businesses that export, they only export to one country. We're helping lead an interagency group, cross-government, that's going to change that. We're going to increase both the number of entrepreneurs who export and the number of countries that they export to. I'll just give you one quick success story. I love this company. Southwest Wind Power. It was founded in 1987 in a garage, really in a garage, in Flagstaff, Arizona. In 1995, they got an SBA loan, and since then, this company has made 160,000 small wind turbines, and they power offshore oil platforms and telecommunication towers and homes and schools in 90 countries. They have 100 employees, and they're hiring even more because they have a whole supply chain they're building up to expand. They saw the demand abroad, they're meeting it, and we're going to create more exporting successful small businesses just like this. The second quick idea is something I've worked a lot with some of my friends from Brookings who are here, regional innovation clusters. Several years ago, up in Maine, we knew that our Naval Air Station in my hometown of Brunswick went on the base closure list, and we're going to lose a lot of jobs. And the governor asked me to find some innovative small businesses who would help and go there. So we looked around to see what our assets were, and we saw that Maine has been building boats for over 400 years. And at the University of Maine, there was new technology, cutting-edge technology in composites that made boat hulls that were the fastest and the lightest in the world. So we formed a cluster of these independent Maine boat builders, and we leveraged this new technology, branded it Maine-built boats, and now Maine is exporting boats as far away as Shanghai. At the SBA this year, we did it again. We saw that there were all these small automotive suppliers in a hard-hit area, Michigan. And I actually went to Detroit and kicked off this cluster. They had expertise in the state-of-the-art area of robotics. And this expertise was very interesting to our Department of Defense. So we put this cluster together, and as I said, I went out, and it is extraordinary how when you get the universities with the expertise, the small businesses with the expertise, and at this time the Department of Defense, how many opportunities we are creating, because these suppliers are now diversifying out of the automotive industry and supplying unmanned military vehicles and much more. In 2010, we're going to expand this cluster to other locations in the United States, and we're going to establish even more regional innovation clusters. We're also going to push exports because we know we can help these high-growth small businesses turn innovation into jobs. So, in closing, we have 3 C's. We've got capital, we've got contracts, and we've got counseling that are really part of the bone structure of the whole Small Business Administration. At the same time, we're going to push ahead in exports and clustering. And we know that if we do this, we can give small businesses the tools they need to grow and prosper, create jobs, and drive our economy once more. I've been working in small business most of my life. I've had the chance this year to see their resiliency, strength throughout the whole United States. I've heard the great success stories here in D.C. We've had Trusted Mission Solutions and Team Critical Care, Cake Love, many more. I've traveled all around the country. I met this guy, Samuel Coe, in Chicago, and he had walked into one of our small business development centers with technology that does titanium-infused molds for the automotive industry. Now he had 0 business experience, and now he has a company that is supplying state-of-the-art technology, and he has offices in Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin, and he's still growing. Stories like these that inspire me. When I go home for the holidays, I'm going to see the familiar shops on Main Street with an E. And I'm going to see all of these high-growth businesses that are operating all around the country. These are the businesses that inspire me personally. They inspire everyone at the SBA. And they are the inspiration for all Americans because they are the force that are going to create the jobs that we need and the innovation that is going to keep the American economy competitive all across the globe. Thank you for having me here.
We have all kinds of questions, so we'll get started right away. Risky lending is part of the reason the U.S. economy tanked. How do you balance the call for more lending with the desire to not repeat past mistakes?
Thank you. You know, right now, as you know, we are still looking at an environment where there is not enough lending to small business. And we know that there are still good companies out there that can't get the credit that they need. Our credit scores on our loans have actually gone up in this environment. They've gone up. So we are not making riskier loans. We're actually seeing more great companies out there. And this is why today, across the administration, we have urged banks to come back in this market and make the loans to those good companies, because without the credit, as the economy perks up and they need to expand their inventory and hire that next worker, they're going to need that capital to grow.
So how does the SBA protect itself against people who are irresponsible in getting loans, like the mortgage borrowers who cannot meet their obligations?
It's very important, as you know, we work through our 5,000 banking partners that are out there. And we have very strict credit standards about what is an appropriate SBA loan. So when we go out there, we are providing access and opportunity to viable businesses that the market isn't serving. We actually have